For years, the Avalon was known as a bit of an old person car, but in 2013, Toyota made a big effort to combat that view, introducing a sleek exterior and a high-tech cabin. Now fast forwarding to 2019, we have another all-new Avalon, and it takes what Toyota started in the last generation and doubles down. Like the Camry, we now have very aggressive styling, which is paired with a lot of new tech and luxury features shared with Lexus. As always, this review will cover all 4 trims of the Avalon, not just this fully loaded touring example. So let's go ahead and see if the reinvented Avalon is worth a look from younger buyers. We would like to specially thank Toyota on Nicholasville for allowing us to come out and film this review. If you would like to check out their dealership and massive inventory of all the Toyota models, a link to their website has been provided in the video description. So like the previous generation, Toyota's Smart Entry system is standard across all trims, and you got their new key fob design this year with the Avalon badging and piano black accents. So as you can see, the cabin has taken a big turn upscale. But before we get into that, we'll pop the hood like always. So the new Avalon is not just a reskinning, but instead a full redesign from top to bottom. The changes under the hood start with a new, more powerful 3.5-liter V6 engine. It produces 301 horsepower, which is up 33 over last year, and 267 pound-feet of torque, up 19 over last year. It is still front-wheel drive only, but you now have an 8-speed automatic transmission instead of a 6-speed. Beyond the powertrain though, the Avalon now rides on Toyota's new TNGA platform, which is great for improving the handling. That's especially true on the Touring, which exclusively has the adaptive variable suspension. That is capable of changing the dampening every 20 milliseconds to match whatever driving situation you find yourself in. So right now I put it in sport mode, so let's give you a little sample of the acceleration and the exhaust sound. Steering is very tight, acceleration very aggressive. And you can definitely tell all the modes change the exhaust sound. So it's the most aggressive by far on the Sport Plus, obviously. The Touring does have a special exhaust as well. Finally, as far as mileage goes, the ratings are very good. Most trims are rated at 22 city, 31 highway, 25 combined. except the lighter XLE, which gains 1 mpg combined, at 22 city, 32 highway, 26 combined. Anyways, that sums up the powertrain options, so now let's see the huge changes to the exterior. So if you wanted evidence that Toyota isn't targeting old people anymore, look no further than this grille. I can tell you, Grandma isn't gonna be a fan, because it is massive. And it's that way no matter what trim, but there are 2 levels to the aggression. The Limited and XLE will get the more luxury-minded grille with gray bars, while the sporty XSE and Touring come with this aggressive black mesh grille. Honestly, it does bear a lot of resemblance to the Lexus spindle that you'll find on the related ES350. The LED headlights further accentuate the aggressive front design, with angular daytime running lights, and best of all, dynamic turn signals. If you do go for the lower trims, you'll still have LED lights, just with a more basic design, but there are never any fog lights on any trim. The grille may be controversial, but all the rest has quite an attractive design. From the side, it has a long, low appearance, undoubtedly helped by the small wheelbase stretch this year. And around back, it looks extremely aggressive in this Touring trim, with a lot of details you never thought you'd see on an Avalon, like quad exhaust and blacked out spoilers. Once again, you do get a more subdued look with the XLE and Limited trims, but overall the Avalon's design still stands out as the sportiest in an otherwise boring class. Moving to the wheels, there are 3 designs, all of which are pretty nice looking. Here on the Touring, we have the biggest wheel option available, the 19-inch black contrast alloy. You will also find these same wheels on the mid-level XSE, while the base XLE has 17-inch silver painted alloys, and the Limited 18-inch alloys with a super chrome finish. The performance trims still have the same size brakes and all-season tread. On the XSE and Touring, you also have black metallic mirrors that nicely match with the wheels. All trims have heating, turn signals, and even standard blind spot indicators. As far as safety is concerned, Toyota kept the same active safety features around, once again standard on all trims. Included are pre-collision braking with pedestrian detection, lane keep assist, auto high beam headlights, and dynamic radar cruise control. And that's in addition to the blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert that I already mentioned. The last thing to look at is the fuel ranges. Somewhat oddly, all trims of the Avalon have 15.8 gallon fuel tanks except the XLE, which only has 14.5. That actually means the less efficient trims have the greater fuel range, at 395 miles versus 377 in the XLE. Well, with that, we wrap up the huge exterior changes. So now let's see if the interior changes are just as big. So I always really liked the old Avalon's interior, but this one takes a big step up in both design and materials used. Just like on the outside, you've got a split between sport and luxury. So on this Touring and the XSE, you will find black or gray interior color schemes, with real aluminum trim and seating that is a combination of Softex faux leather and ultra suede. On the other side, you have the XLE with gray, black, or beige synthetic leather, and the Limited with real leather in those same colors, plus an exclusive cognac scheme. The gray doesn't showcase it well, but the door trim is very richly appointed, with leather covering the armrest and suede for the middle portion. Even the top part is padded, and you have some real aluminum trim up here. Two-person memory comes on the Limited and Touring. And all 4 of the windows are one-touch automatic. So the base seat on the Avalon is 10-way power adjusting, but the Touring and Limited have 4-way lumbar, bringing the total to 12 ways. The seating itself feels like real leather, and I like the tasteful use of suede all around the bolsters. So my first impression of the cabin is just how cool the design is. There's nothing similar to the old model, and the materials are all around better. All the upper dash is made from nicely grained soft touch plastic. And then in the middle, you have this really cool aluminum with an integrated vent. Below that, you have soft stitched leather, which runs over most of the commonly touched areas. You even have leather along here, and overall, everything fits tight. Once the car has power, the new standard 9-inch display will boot up. It does now have Apple CarPlay, which we will look at later. So the gauges have been totally redesigned, with a clean mixture of analog and a 7-inch display. The screen has all the typical stuff, including the settings for the safety systems. But if that's not enough, there is also a 10-inch head-up display on the Limited and Touring. Coming back to the wheel, all models get electric power steering and this leather wrapping, though it would be a different color on the Limited. On this side, you've got your gauge display and other entertainment functions, and on the other, you've got adaptive cruise control and some of the safety systems. The wheel itself is now power adjusting this year, as well as heated for the first time. Now, as far as interior storage goes, the Avalon has more than what you would usually find in a sedan. Starting out, you've got a huge center console with removable tray, and the whole thing is felt lined like a full-blown luxury car. You will also find 3 USB ports, 2 of which are higher voltage for charging. Up in the front, there is another big blank area with access from all 3 sides, but it slides to reveal a hidden storage compartment with a dedicated Qi wireless phone charger. All models come with a nice traditional leather shifter. Pressing to the left allows for manual shifting. Or better yet, you can use the paddle shifters on all but the XLE. When you shift into reverse, this 360-degree bird's eye camera will appear on the Limited and Tourings with the advanced safety package. This setup also includes rear cross-traffic braking, in addition to these views and a 360-degree perimeter scan. Back behind the shifter, you have the drive mode buttons, and Tourings have a special Sport Plus mode. Back up a little more, and you have an automatic parking brake and brake hold feature. Now moving up to the Climate, the old capacitive buttons have been replaced by nice and simple physical buttons. It is dual zone automatic on all trims, which is interesting since the Limited used to have 3 zones. But regardless, it's still nice looking and easy to use. In the same area, you have the 3-stage heated seat controls on all trims, but the 3-stage ventilation only on the Limited and Touring. Now let's go ahead and sample the 1200 watt 14 speaker JBL premium audio system. Sound quality is pretty good, but its default tuning is extremely bass heavy, so you might want to turn that down. Now let's take a quick look at the newest Entune 3.0 system. So this year we've got the infotainment system from the Camry, which has a lot of new features and better graphics. This is the home screen, and you can click on any of these things to expand them. Bluetooth audio can be controlled here or through the steering wheel. And you can change the sources on the left side. Next we'll look at the dynamic integrated navigation. This comes standard on the Limited and Touring only, with the lower trims getting Scout GPS link, which runs through your phone, instead. This map has very nice Lexus level graphics, and performance is very smooth. However, by far the biggest addition is Apple CarPlay. This is the first Toyota to get it, and it has all the same features as in any other car. But for Android people like myself, Toyota still does not offer Android Auto. Beyond that app, there is a no-cost app suite which includes a lot of extra stuff. Finally, the last thing I want to mention is the standard Wi-Fi hotspot. It is powered by Verizon, and you get 2 GB of free data to try out. That's all I'm going to cover here, but we have a very extensive tutorial of all of Entune's features in a dedicated tech help video. A link to that is provided in the description. All trims do have an auto-dimming mirror, but it's not frameless on the XLE. We also have a power moonroof. Strangely, you cannot get a panoramic one like on the Camry and ES350. But at least it is standard on all but the base trim. But overall, the lack of a pano roof does nothing to spoil my opinion of the new cabin. Regardless of what the badging on the outside says, this is a luxury car through and through, with excellent materials, tech, and a swanky design. Maxima, the bar has been raised. Now I'll hand it off to Mason to finish up the review.
The rear door trim of the new Avalon is just as nice as the front. You have a good mix of this leather trim here and this Alcantara stuff on XSE and Touring models. The rear window is automatic up and down. And as far as rear space goes, the new Avalon has 40.3 inches of rear legroom and 37.5 inches of rear headroom. That places it well above main competitors like the Nissan Maxima, and right on par with other stuff like the Buick LaCrosse. The seat is made out of some nice leather on the sides, Alcantara here, and leather in the center. They're also pretty comfortable too. All of the 2019 Avalons will have these air vents in the back, and you will have 2 charging USBs as well. The Limited and the Touring will have these heated rear seats, which is a nice touch for the class. You have a really nice big armrest with some stitching, and a couple cup holders in the end. Up top, you've got some LED lighting, pretty good headliner, and an assist grip. Now, as far as rear legroom goes, of course there's plenty, because 40.3 inches is a lot. My feet do have plenty of room to slide up under the seat, and I have probably a foot or so of leg space behind Drew's position. Scooting over, this is with the seat all the way back, and I do have several inches still, and of course my feet can slide up under the seat. Summed up, the rear seat of the 2019 Avalon is a great place to spend time. You've got plenty of space for both your legs and feet, it's comfortable, there's lots of features back here, and it's really just a great place to be. Great place to road trip, and perfect place for a family. Coming around to the trunk, you can open it with the key fob or locate this button underneath the trunk lid. Inside the trunk of the 2019 Avalon, you have 16.1 cubic feet of space, which will be reduced on the hybrid model. You also have 60-40 split rear seats. Underneath the floor here, you also have a spare tire. Passenger seat is power adjusting with lumbar support. In front of the passenger here, you have nice materials with this leather trim, padded plastic, and this aluminum. The glove box is dampened and it's pretty good sized. Here's your sun visor. And of course, you can always store stuff in here. The padded material here as well. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching this in-depth review of the all-new 2019 Toyota Avalon Touring. Stay watching for a quick look at the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.